Hi, we're going to do a Moroccan lamb dish now. Ras-El-Hanout is the flavours, 15 spices in all. We've got lavender in there and some beautiful rose petals amongst others. Seasoned Pioneers, absolutely beautiful with lamb. We're going to serve that with some butternut squash, which we've part cooked already, and some little cubes of potatoes, again that we've partly cooked. We're going to roast those in the oven. But first of all, we're going to season the lamb and we're going to sear it in the pan. So we've got our lamb. I use the local butcher, Derek Massey in Heswell. Beautiful meat. And we're going to, this is actually leg of lamb, which I've got him to bone and chunk into a nice piece of meat that we can slice on top of a bed of spinach. We're going to use the seasoning now, coat it beautifully. See the rose petals coming out. So we've seasoned the meat and we're going to put some oil into our thick bottom pan, get that nice and hot. We want to caramelise the outside of the meat, make it nice and brown, and then we're going to pop that into the oven. The oven's set at about 200 degrees. We're going to put the seasoned lamb now into the pan. You can see the vapours rising. Hear it sizzle, and we're going to seal it all around, get that nice caramelisation on the outside. So the meat is now beautifully brown on the outside. Not cooked in the middle, we're going to pop that in the oven, 200 degrees, put the pan straight in. Remember, the pan handle will be very hot when it comes out. Whilst that's in the oven, we're going to put some of our cubes of butternut squash on an oil tray, and our little cubes of potato. Again, we're going to drizzle those in the oil, so we're going to have little roasted vegetables and potatoes. And that can go in alongside the lamb. Whilst that is in the oven, we're going to cook the spinach. So I've got a pan, absolutely no water in there at all. I'm going to drain the spinach. I've just washed it in a little bit of water. The amount of water that's on that spinach now as it comes out of the bowl is sufficient to cook in. I'm going to wilt it. I'm going to put a little bit of butter in there. And I'm going to season it with a little bit of salt and pepper. I'll take about 2 or 3 minutes just to cook. Once that full bowl of spinach has wilted, down to next to nothing really, just leave it on the stove for a few minutes until your lamb's nicely cooked. About 10 minutes you can lift your lamb out of the oven. It should be just about cooked now, and place it over on a clean chopping board just to rest. When you cook the lamb, it tightens up and you need to allow it 3 or 4 minutes just to relax again, to become more succulent. We're going to put the spinach back on a low heat. I'm going to drain our pan of any excess oil. Remember, the handle's hot. And we're going to put that on the heat to start to caramelise the pan. Once the pan's sizzling, we can actually add a splash of wine. Juice that down a little bit. Now, whenever I make any sauces, any gravies, I always keep a little bit in the fridge or into the freezer and just get a touch out as I want it. And this is some beautiful jus that we made earlier. Pour that in. Just allow that to reduce for a few minutes. We want to check the seasoning. You might need a little touch of salt, maybe a little touch of pepper. Let that reduce for a moment. The spinach is just warming through now on a very low heat. Now we can start to pull the dish together. We can slice the lamb into thin slices. Take a little bit of spinach, squeeze it out because there's still a little bit of water in there. Place it in the centre. And the sauce, put it into a little jug so it's easy to pour. Take the lamb and arrange it nicely top of the spinach. Little roasted potatoes now. And the butternut squash. Sauce around the place. And there we have it, the Moroccan lamb dish. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful flavour of the lavender, the cinnamon, the coriander, and of course those rose petals that you saw at the beginning. Absolutely wonderful.